Hi VC, Dale Gateful 33 here to do a recent spins video for the month of January 2021. So if I'm honest, with the Lost in the Collection and new stuff, I haven't got a massive amount of time, or haven't been spending a massive amount of time spinning other things in between. So what I've done is I think in my last recent finds, I incorporated some records that I'd pulled out of my cell boxes and classed them as recent finds. So in order to make up 10 records, I'm now this month, I've done a bit more of that, but I'm classing them as recent spins. They're either one or the other, so it doesn't really matter. So, but there have been a few other things I've just, played because I fancied it. This is Kinks, Kind of Kinks. So this is an early Kinks record. So before, if you like, the Ray Davies songwriting really took hold, and before I think they reached their peak. I think from sort of Face to Face onwards is when I think they really hit a sweet spot. From then through to Muswell Hillbillies, I think, in my view. But this is still a really good album, better than I thought. So I had like I had an 80s repress of this several years ago, and it wasn't an album that I reach for. Typically, if I reach, so I'll reach for something in that sweet spot period. And then this is actually part of the Kinks in mono box, but I hadn't really, apart from playing it the first time I got it, I haven't sort of felt like reaching for it. But in sort of thinking, oh yeah, I'll give it a spin. It was enjoyable, more enjoyable than I was anticipating. So I think Richard McCook was doing this has got my articles in the back. Richard McCook was doing a ranking video of his favourite non-single sort of Bowie album tracks and B-sides, and he had his favourite tracks or combination of tracks was from this album, Diamond Dogs, and I think I said in my comments I must now go and give it a listen, which I did. So and I think it was also around the time, either obviously Bowie's, the anniversary of his birthday or his passing. So I decided to play some Bowie, and Diamond Dogs got the choice, which again is not my reach for album. I know it's Richard's favourite, but this is not my reach for album. It was good to go back and give it a spin. And then I think the next 8 are all albums that have come out of the bins. So first up, Fish Rising, Steve Hillage. So I like prog, but I don't like prog. I don't like my prog too proggy. And I think when I got this, which I got this from a car boot sale several years ago, it felt a little bit kind of, it was a bit sort of, I don't know, a little bit too not just kind of a demonstration of musical ability rather than an album that had a structure and a story to it. But I went back to it and enjoyed it more than I remembered. So it's gone back in the collection. Struggling with my use of the English language today. This is a staple. So I like the first 2 Bad Company albums. For some reason, I decided to purge the second one because I have it on CD as well, and thought I don't need the vinyl. But this is a really nice copy, and I went back and played it, and it's good, enjoyable rock, blues rock, British blues rock. Paul Rodgers has got a fantastic rock voice, so I thought, well, we'll stick it back in the collection. What are you thinking of? You might as well keep it. So I have. Yeah, this one is a bit of a story. So Thin Lizzy Jailbreak. So this has got the die cut cover, which I've put the record in between at the moment, so it looks a bit weird. So this I went through a I need to. I've got all the Thin Lizzy albums, or most of the Thin Lizzy albums, on CD, and so I went through, and I do like Thin Lizzy. I really like Thin Lizzy, and I went through, and I had a lot on vinyl. I went through them and purged, culled quite a few to keep the sort of 4 or 5 that I really liked. Again, one of those, finding space in the collection type moments. And I had a pristine copy of this that I sold. And this I got, I think, in a small collection. This is a rough cover. The vinyl's fine. The cover's a bit rough. So I thought, oh, I'll sell that as well, because. But I revisited it and thought, this is a great Thin Lizzy album. What on earth? So I can now regret selling my pristine copy. But luckily, at least the vinyl on this is fine. That I've got a half decent playing copy anyway. So. So this is another one of those, is it a bit too proggy for its own sake? So Chris Squire, Fish Out of Water. Again, I went back to this. It's okay. It doesn't blow your socks off, but it was good as a kind of mid-70s prog album. So I'll put it back in the collection. I must have had a weakness for prog. Next up, so I think I might have said in my last video, when I forget who I was dismissing, but I think I was dismissing REM later material, likening it to the earnestness of U2, which particularly sort of some of their later material. Although my sweet spot for U2 is kind of is Joshua Tree, Acton Baby, so which is smack in the middle sort of thing. So that's a bit weird, but. I had a lovely copy of this, and I gave it a listen. And again, it's okay. It had dated better than I had expected, and the song New Year's Day is timeless. It all feels like, it's a really strong anthem. So so it's gone back in the collection. So a bit of a contradiction there in me, but I do think the later U2. They did get a little bit up themselves. Bono particularly. So this, who hasn't got this in their collection? Well, I've got all the kind of like the 3 Queen greatest hits 1, 2, and 3 on CD. So again, I thought I don't need to have the greatest hits on vinyl. I'll get rid of it. This is a sort of original first press of it, but one Saturday I was thinking, I grabbed the pile from the bins and thought, I'll give this a spin. I was doing stuff in the office, and it's just an enjoyable listen. It's got all the hits, funnily enough, all the early hits on it, or a lot of them anyway. So why get rid of it? Another one may be controversial. I'm not a fan of the pre-electric Bob Dylan particularly, and I'm a more of a fan of the really later gravelly Bob Dylan than some of the earlier stuff. Things like Blood on the Tracks accepted, but so this has been in and out. This is original UK mono freewheeling Bob Dylan. I think I've had various kind of goes with this, but I had another go with it, and it was okay. Again, not my favourite, so it's not my favourite era of Dylan, but it's a sort of huge record in the canon. It probably warrants a space in the collection. Until next time. And then finally, this is a Canadian stereo press, I think, of Fairy Tale. Again, this is an okay Donovan album. I think that sweet spot when he was doing his kind of more psych stuff, Gift from a Flower to the Garden sort of era, Sunshine Superman, is better. This is just predates that, but it's a nice singer-songwriter album. And so and I said before, never store your records outside the sleeves, but my only exception is when the sleeve is so tight or damaged that I do that. So few of these have got are outside just because the sleeve is so damaged. In this case, it's got a big split in it, so I don't put it inside. That's my okay. So that's 10 minutes exactly, just over. Yeah, so there's 10 records. I'm going to hopefully get around to spinning more in February. It's a short month, and we'll have a bit more variety and a bit more interest to show you next month. Cheers, VC. Bye.